Let's go! Legend! 1, 2, 3, go!
Hi, welcome to episode 12 of the Comic Con Community Podcast, and today we have joining us Rhian Blundell. Welcome, Rhian. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
I've got a whole host of questions to get through. We're probably not going to get through all of them because obviously we are limited in time. But for those people out there that don't know, Rhian is an actress. She's been in many on-screen and off-screen roles, some audio productions, and even on stage. So you've covered everything there, which I think takes a talent. Definitely, it's crazy how much you've actually done the different medias. But what was your first on-screen role?
So my first on-screen role was it was a really small independent Welsh film called Nobody Girl, which was it was a play on a sort of a comic book idea, but quite down to earth and quite gritty. And it was a very, very small production, and I was absolutely terrified the entire time. But it's strange. It's one of those films that's kind of disappeared, and I'm not sure if it'll ever see the light of day. But it was a really good learning experience for me. So yeah.
Was it a lot of fun to film then?
Oh my gosh, so much fun!
Was it?
So much fun. And I'd been to college in Wales. I trained in Wales, and so sort of to kind of still be in Wales, I felt very safe. They don't suffer fools in the kindest way. So yeah, it was good. It was nice.
So is that available to watch anywhere still, do you know, or is it
been buried so. Under the... Yeah, no, I think it's one of those ones where it was amazing, it was fun, and then it just kind of disappeared, which kind of sadly happens sometimes, but what can you do?
That is a shame. That's a shame. And then after that you moved on to, did you go straight onto the Vampire Academy from that, or was there something in between?
No, I did my grafting a few years in London. I did like a few. There was sort of the time where I was doing like a lot of audio dramas. I did a lot of like R&D pieces, so like research pieces, or like sort of little jobs where it's just a room with a few actors and a writer developing projects. So I did a few of those, and then COVID hit, and yes. I actually came back home. And I thought, well, that was a nice dream for a while. The whole acting thing, that was a good. What am I going to do instead?
Oh, no.
So yeah, and then Vampire Academy actually came in 2021. It was the strangest sort of. I'd gone from sort of being back home with my family for COVID, and then all of a sudden they were like, "Oh, so you have booked this job, and you're going to be in Spain in the next month for a year."
Wow.
So it was famine to feast. It really was. It was crazy.
Is that how long you were out there filming them for, like a year? It was in Spain and Portugal, wasn't it?
Yeah. It was about 9 months, to be fair.
Wow.
Primarily in northern Spain, around sort of like Pamplona. That's where we shot most of it, and a little bit in Lisbon as well. But yeah, 9 months.
That's a long time. And at that point, were there still COVID restrictions in place? Was there like the 2 meter distancing? I mean, obviously, not all of it, because I've seen the show, and you definitely went 2 meters apart. But that was like just not long after COVID. So was there still that kind of, restrictions in place?
Oh God, yeah. So there was loads of restrictions in place. The cast was sort of bubbled together, so that's how we were able to sort of do a lot of the being such close contact with each other. I think restrictions were starting to be lifted, but we were being tested every day. There was a couple of people who got COVID, and had to be like sort of very, very quick rearrangements of what would be shot on that given day. And there was sort of the fear every day of like, please just hopefully I passed the test today. So yeah, that was crazy as well.
Yeah, it sounds it. It's so. While you were out there filming, I mean, you're out there for 9 months. I presume you weren't filming constantly. Did you have any time to actually enjoy Spain? Did you get weekends off, or obviously you were filming through some night scenes and some day scenes, but did you get a lot of time to yourself to enjoy what you could while you were out there, or was it just work?
I mean, Yes and no. We did like a few trips. Some of us went to like Barcelona. But to be honest, those of us, because in the show there's sort of those of us that are more kind of like guardians, like fighters. And to be honest, any day that we weren't in, we were at least in stunt training. So you'd do at least 2-3 hours of stunt training every day if you weren't in. And then just sort of like collapse the 2 other days.
Too tired to do much else.
Actually, especially for someone like me, I was like the least sporty person in that little group. I remember the first day just thinking, oh God, no, it's like PA all over again. But yeah, it was good.
That was actually leading to one of my next questions. Like, there's a lot of fight scenes in there. You know, there is a lot. Did you have quite a lot of training for that then, or did they use stunt doubles for any of it, or was it just
Yes.
you? You know, and did you actually get any injuries as well?
I got so many injuries, but no serious ones. I just got loads of bruises, which was their worst nightmare because it's the worst thing to try and cover up on camera.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
being very pale every time I got bruised, they'd be like, again
And again.
and again. Yeah, we all had stunt doubles in the cast, and the stunt doubles were responsible for training us. They were the most amazing group of people, so dedicated, absolutely nuts at the same time, but they were like they were the best people, and they were very keen on us doing as much as we possibly could ourselves. There's quite a few stunts that I did, some of which didn't even make it in the show, because that's the other thing. There'd be so many things that like all of us would do, and then it just never would quite make it in. But it was a great experience. But yeah, we were trained very intensely, and kind of contrary to what I said before, like I did show up terrified, thinking, how in God's name am I going to keep up? And then by sort of month 6 through to the end, I'd be like getting angry if they wouldn't let me do it myself. So they really did get me to the point where like I'd be like, come on, I can
You can do
get thrown
this.
in the air and land on my back. Yeah, I'll be fine. So yeah.
But obviously they can't afford to have you being injured.
No.
So not a good idea. But I bet
No,
your
no.
fitness improved over that time as well, because obviously you're doing a lot of training and you know. Are you generally physical? Do you do a lot of exercise? You go running and stuff, or was it just for the show?
Before that show, absolutely not. I've never been my hand-eye coordination is shocking. No, terrible. But after, yeah, and it really did. Like I've boxed ever since. So,
Right.
but I hate running. I really admire people who can run, but my attention span is just terrible, and I can't keep it up. I need something to be.
Yeah, it's not the most exciting thing to do, is it? But I suppose if you've got a good podcast or some music on, it kind of takes your mind off it. But yeah, it's not very exciting. So you also you played a vampire in the stage show, didn't you? Let the Right One In, which was on at the Manchester Royal Exchange.
Yeah.
How was that then? Was that an experience? Was it really different?
Oh yeah, incredibly different. Incredibly, a whole different set of muscles. It was also like it was the same year that I finished Vampire Academy. I went into that, so I did start to feel a little bit like, oh, vampires is the thing.
It's
for the
your
next...
thing. Yeah.
Very different kind of vampire. But
Yes,
yeah, it was really different, but it was so amazing. And the exchange is such a northern. It's so iconic for like northern art that it was an absolute dream come true. It really was.
How long was that? How long did that run for then? Was that quite a while?
No. So that was the much shorter period of time. I think we rehearsed for about a month and a half, and then we did a run for a month. So it was very sort of like.
That's not a long time to rehearse.
No.
A month and a half is that's. I would assume you've got a really good memory for your lines.
Yeah. And it was intense. It was really intense, but it was so much fun, and I loved the play. And I like I say, I was just so excited to be at the exchange that it was
just
great.
forgot about everything else.
Really, yeah.
And is it a lot more nerve-wracking doing it live on stage than obviously, if you're filming it, you can always retake it, but if you're doing it live on stage, it's a very different experience because you can't afford to slip up, you know. Well, you can. I mean, people do, but
yeah, that's true. To be honest, though, I'm a bit weird, and I kind of love it when things go a bit wrong on stage. I kind of love it. I kind of love that all of a sudden it's like everybody in the room is really awake, and it's like, okay, how do we
recover,
navigate this? And like, I don't know, it's just such a shared experience. Yeah, I don't mind it when things, I mean, not too wrong. I don't want anybody to get but like a
you
little
love it
thing.
when other people do stuff wrong, but not when you do stuff
Absolutely.
wrong.
That's what it is.
Yeah, but no, that sounds like a really good experience.
Yeah.
So what else can you tell us about that show then? Is it still on now? Are they redoing it at any point, or?
I mean, there was talk of us doing it again. I'm, possibly touring it to some other venues. I'm not sure if that'll happen. It's such a, like, putting a show on tour is such a logistical nightmare.
Yeah.
I did hear a rumor though from a stage manager at the Exchange that we used so much fake blood, and in the show it would sort of run into a drain in the center of the stage. And I did hear a rumor that the boards underneath have still got a stain on them.
Oh no!
So
you left your mark. That's not a great mark to leave, but it's certainly a mark. And do you ever go to shows at all yourself to watch shows? Is that one of your pastimes? Do you enjoy that?
Yeah, absolutely. And Manchester, like, not just the Exchange, Manchester's got so many great like fringe venues, and there's so much interesting stuff going on. There's there's pub theatres popping up, and there's things that happen at home and Contact, and like there's such a passion, I think, at the minute for this like resurgence, and not just in Manchester, also in like Bolton's got the Bolton Octagon, and I know there's great stuff happening. I think it's the Electric in Blackpool. Like, there is such like a resurgence for northern theatre and northern voices in theatre, and it's really exciting to see at the minute.
That's good. Yeah, that's really good. So you say you've not got a thing for vampires, although it is looking like you have. Were you ever a Buffy and Angel fan? Because of course, played alongside J. Richards in the Vampire Academy.
Yeah.
Had you seen Buffy and Angel before that, or were you brand new to?
Oh no, I think I was a little bit. I never quite aligned with, like, as in like time. I can't remember if I was a little bit too young.
You probably were. I think
it was on like a different. But I do remember Buffy, and I kind of had, like, I knew who Jay was, not just from that, but because he's just done so many like cool roles over the years. And I will say he's the classiest human. But he's so cool. He's so kind. Yeah, he's everything you kind of hoped he would be.
Yeah, I've met him briefly in Blackpool at one of the old Star Fury events. So they used to do the Buffy and Angel events in Blackpool at Norbeck Castle, and he was there. We're probably speaking 20 years ago now. So
yeah,
but yes, I mean, all of the crew were brilliant, but yeah, he was a really nice guy.
Isn't he?
Was it an honour to work next to? I mean, obviously there was a lot of people in the shows. Was it? Yeah. Were you a bit starstruck when you got there? Or did you just soon come down to earth and get on with it?
Yeah, let's just say, like, focus up. Yeah, I kind of was, but more so just with this scale of the production. Like, it was huge, and I think that was the biggest thing. The cast, we got really lucky in that it really did feel like there were so many kind of newcomers, and we very much just straight away were like, we're going to band together and we're really going to like give this everything. And Jay was kind of this incredible, like, he really did sort of steer the ship for us, and he always had time for anybody. He always had time to answer questions. He like set such an incredible example and tone all the time. We really did get lucky on that show, but yeah, I was more intimidated, but yeah, look, by the scale, it was massive. It was so much it was massive. So yeah,
I mean, that castle itself looks huge. Did you have the run of the whole building then, and the grounds as well?
Yeah, it was an old monastery, so everything they were sort of building on the grounds of this monastery or within. So I'd say like 70% of everything we did was kind of in within the grounds of this monastery or within the castle that was over the road, because it's northern Spain and it's like, here's just a castle over the road
Next to a
um,
monastery.
yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, it certainly looks it. And did you, or have you ever, or do you even still get imposter syndrome when you're going to film something? Do you just feel like sometimes, should I really be doing this? Is this me? Is this? I mean, I've had that in my job, and my job is completely boring. But sometimes when you go to a meeting and they're asking you all these important questions, and you're like, "Oh, I feel a bit underqualified to be answering this." But obviously you're not. But you just feel that. Did you ever get that, or did you ever at the beginning of your career?
Yeah, I still get, like, yeah, absolutely, I still get it. It's funny. I never get it when I'm actually like working. That's when I that's my passion, and that's when I can kind of zone in. It's more kind of like this and like castings, and that's when all of a sudden it's like, oh, why would anybody care what I think? But so yeah, it's the in betweens way scarier for me. So much scarier.
Yeah, yeah. Do you still keep in contact with any of the cast from that, or have you kind of all
Oh
gone
yeah,
all gone your separate ways?
no, we're very like, well, I think we were all sort of like vaguely still in contact. There's obviously like everyone came from various places around the world, so it's harder to see some people, but we're all still in touch. I was at a birthday party for one of the cast members on Friday, who is from Manchester, to be fair, so it wasn't that big
You
of a
didn't have
journey.
far to travel.
um, yeah, and then yeah, I think somebody else I'm seeing. Yeah, we all definitely still like cross
Keep in
paths,
touch.
chat when we can. Yeah,
Yeah, I noticed that there was a lot of cast. There was like a huge variety of different countries. It's not like everybody was from England or they're all from the States.
yeah,
It was different,
yeah,
which but it worked.
yeah. It was amazing. I think it was that call. If you're going to do something that's high fantasy, why not see everybody there? I think that was the vibe, and I think actually it brought out such like an amazing tone in it, because it's just such a collaboration of people. Like, we were the maddest bunch, but we all really did like each other and like being around each other. So yeah.
You also did some audio work as well, Doctor Who, I believe.
Yeah.
So how was that? Can you tell me the process of how that happened and what it involved?
Yes. I mean, I got very lucky with that, in that there's a brilliant producer called Scott Hancock, who's involved in like a lot of the various. I'm not sure what the collective is. I think it's the Hoover, like all of the sort of Doctor Who universes. He does an awful lot of those audio dramas, and he just happened to come and teach some classes at the school I was training in, and he's one of these people that just has a memory for people and a memory for vibes and voices. And I was very grateful that he reached out a couple of times for me to come and do different projects for Big Finish. They were really fun. I wasn't anticipating so many people to be at the mic at the same time. I thought we'd all sort of go in,
Do you a bit?
which I think can happen with some dramas, but with the way that they record them is there's they get as many people there as they can at the same time. So that's
Right.
quite an intense thing, because you're all stood quite close and you're all quite close to the mic, and it's a very strange experience, but cool. It was good fun.
At least I suppose with that you could read off a script and you weren't having to rely on memorizing everything, which
Yeah.
again is very different to stage work, and it's very different to TV work as well. It's all very different.
Yeah, yeah. I like a
Which
challenge.
which do you prefer out of the three? I know that's probably a really tough question, but based on your experience so far, you don't
They're,
have
they're,
to. You don't have to pick one. I know they're probably all equal. They all have
they kind of are
the
all
benefits.
equal,
Yeah.
and I'm one of these people that I've not done one for a little while, I get the real itch to do that one again. So it's more that whichever one I haven't done for a little bit is the one I want to do
That's the one
next.
you want to do.
Yeah.
So what's coming up next then? What did you do last, and what would you like to do next? So would you like to jump into some audio or another stage show or?
So the last job I did was for screen. It was TV. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe theatre. I've not done theatre for a little while. That'd be really good fun.
Get back on the stage.
Yeah, that'd be good, I think.
Yeah. So speaking of your last role, that was TV. I believe that you've been cast for Professor T with Ben Miller. So what can you tell us about that? Obviously, it's not out yet. So
no, not out in the UK yet. That was great. That was a bit of intimidating when I first joined, because I'd never joined something that was kind of so established.
yeah, so they're on season 4 now, aren't they?
Yeah. But that was it was absolutely amazing. It was such a joy to be working with so many established British actors as well. Like, I was kind of the baby of the group, which was great for me, because I was just sort of taking in and learning everything I possibly could. And they're all such pros. I find that
so easy.
Really, they do, and like would do, make suggestions, or the way they tackle things. I just think, oh yeah, why didn't I think of that? That makes so much sense. But it was really good fun. That was shot out in Belgium. But yeah, I'm kind of excited for people to see that. I'm excited to be in something that I think my nana's going to enjoy.
That's good. Do you ever watch the things that you've been in, or listen to them, like the audio books? The audio versions. Do you listen to them yourself, or have you watched Vampire Academy, or is it because I know some people won't watch anything they've been in?
Well, I guarantee you, the most of them do.
Yeah, probably. I know it'd be hard not to, wouldn't it? I suppose. But,
yeah. I think I want to get to the point where I don't have to watch them back. I'm still too self-conscious, and at the moment I'm still like, any chance I can to watch it back, I'll watch it back, and then wish I hadn't. But you also got it. There's some pride in it as well. Like,
and so there should be. I mean, it was a huge show, so it was absolutely fantastic. So it's definitely something that you should be proud of.
Yeah, and it's all like attached. You can't watch it in the same way as I suppose anybody else could, because everything's attached to a memory. But that's kind of the nice part about watching it back as well. You sort of reminisce of all the things that it took to get there. So yeah.
And did you have, obviously when you're filming it, it gets filmed completely out of sequence. Did you have an idea of the storyline as you were filming it, or was it not until you'd watched it and you went, so that's how it plays out, is it? Because obviously when you're filming it, it's very different, isn't it? Because you're just seeing the bits you're in, so you're not seeing the bits that obviously you're not in. You're not stood watching all day, I presume. Not just.
I mean, for instance, so Professor T that I just did, we filmed completely out of sync for the whole season, that was such like a muscle to work when it first happened. And everything, that they're so clean with it, and everyone's so they all know the characters so well, and the crew are so slick. But for me, that was like a real muscle I'd never had to work before. But I think it's kind of like one of the biggest things that you can contribute as an actor. You kind of have to do that work. You have to like have done everything to sort of know whatever you need to jump into at the time you can jump into. But yeah, filming out of sync was that's something they don't always necessarily teach you when you're training, that's how it's going to be redone. So that was a curveball the first time it happened. So
can be very confusing, I suppose. You're like, why are we? What's happening here?
Yeah. In Spain as well, because it was so much of it was at night. It was like, oh Lord.
Yeah, because obviously vampire show, so a lot of it was filmed through the night, and that would make sense. So out of everybody that you've worked with across all media types, who is the most inspiring person? And you're not allowed to say J. August Richards, because we've already spoken about him. And you've already said how amazing he was. But, is there anybody that stood out to you as being just that person that you'd love to work with again, or that gave you the most, took you under the wing maybe?
I don't know. I feel kind of bad picking out one person, because honestly I've got really lucky. And not just with not just with like there's been people who sort of like are kind of around my age who have just been working a lot longer, who like worked with Mia in Vampire Academy, and she's been doing it for so long, and she's so good, and she just makes you feel so comfortable. I would say sort of most recently there's not just everybody in the UK knows, I think it was Sinatra Sarkar, who I work with a lot, and Barney White I work with a lot in Professor T. And then this is it. I don't want to exclude anybody.
There's definitely too many. Yeah.
There's too
it's okay.
many.
They probably won't watch this, so don't
that's
worry.
Fair. That's
they won't know.
Yeah. Well, then now I have to see it. But yeah, I think that the really cool thing about this job is you get to work with so many different people, and there's stuff to take from everybody. There's like a fantastic stage actor, a Manchester stage actor called Andy Sheridan, who I worked with in Let the Right One In, and he was so interesting to watch on stage, and so interesting to watch like how he creates a character and how he builds that. I think I'm not going to pick anybody, but honestly it's purely just because everybody's
too many. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, that's a good answer. Rather than not being anybody, it's because there's too many. So what are you currently working on? Have you got anything in the pipeline or for this year? Anything that you're allowed to tell us anyway, obviously.
I'd love to tell you.
No, okay. No, that's
I'm working on painting at home, but I'm painting the kitchen. But in terms of like actual work, I'm not technically allowed to say. But
okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. Is there anything you'd like to be working on? Like, what would be your ideal project? And that again is a tough one. I know.
It's a tough one, and there's so many. Do you know what? Just to answer is like the teenager in me. All the stuff they've been developing around you, they've started to do like all the Anne Rice. Not to go back to vampires, of course. They've started to do like the Anne Rice universe. That would be so much fun. Right. Not this is it. Me just want to go back to vampires again. No. I'd love to do something sci-fi, and I would love to do like a really good horror film.
Yes,
like a really good horror. I think would be a lot of fun.
Horror's my favourite genre, definitely.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
A couple of weeks ago, we had on Craig Quinn, who's the director from Borehog, the movie. So, which, I don't know if you've seen that, but it's local to the Northwest, filmed around the Manchester area. It was a great film, and he's just currently recruiting for Borehog 2. So, he's got a GoFundMe page up, and you can actually donate to his GoFundMe for a role in his. So there you go. Yeah. We were thinking of doing it ourselves, Everybody pay £100 and we can get a role in the film. But the great move is I won't go into it too much detail, but certainly one to look out for. So, there's a lot of these small independent movies being made. So, but yeah, horror is definitely my favourite genre. And my board game collection consists of quite a few horror board games as well. So it's where we're at. There is also, at the end of February in Haywood, which is around the Bury area, there's a horror con as well. It's called Horrorwood. One of our directors actually runs that. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So we'll have a lot of the cast there from Borehog, and they have all the special effects and the fake blood and the makeup. And, obviously you've seen a lot of that in real life on the set. So how was the prosthetics there? Was there a lot involved? Did it take hours? Were people in makeup for hours getting their faces done? Because obviously it looks really realistic.
Yeah, I mean the ones who had the brunt of it on the one I did were the stunt crew, because obviously they tend to be the ones that play some sort of creature on the whole. Obviously, like you do get a lot of like actors taking on that role, but when sort of vampire zombies, a lot of those things, they're the ones that have to get thrown or beat up or whatever. So they would have the 4 or 5 hours sat in the chair, and I'd like pop in and like have eyelashes pop on, and they'd be like in
and out in 20 minutes. But
I would love to. I'd love to do it one day. I think that when they have the molds made of faces and you have the full everything that terrifies me. That would freak me out, I think. But I think it'd be fun. It'd be worth it.
Be worth having a go.
Oh,
Maybe in your next one. Maybe.
thanks.
But no, the effects looked brilliant. The
Yeah.
makeup that they did. But you were one of the lucky ones, but you never got turned, and you were fine. You were fine. Speaking of which, I did have a question about this, and you may or may not know the answer. How did Meredith know about the tunnels? And if you don't know the answer, that's okay.
I know, I do know, and I know the secret, but I don't know if I'd have
No,
to
it's
check.
okay. No, don't worry. It's okay. That wasn't on the
Julie
list of
Marguerite,
official
who,
questions, so
yeah,
But when I finished watching it, I was like, that's the one thing that I mean, obviously there's a lot more,
yeah,
but that was one thing that just kind of, I was like, so how? But no,
yeah,
it's okay. Don't worry.
yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
find
I
out
would
one
love
day.
to tell, but I don't know if it's mine to tell. That's all.
No, obviously that's fine. But at least you know, so you
Yeah,
know
I get to sleep
that's
at
the
night.
main thing. Yeah, it's just me that doesn't. So you grew up in Fleetwood.
Mm,
What age did you move away from Fleetwood then? Were you there for all of your childhood, or but you
yeah,
studied in Wales, didn't you? Was that kind of
yeah,
after high school?
yeah. So I didn't leave until I went to uni in Wales.
Wow,
So full time, yeah.
wow. And how did you find growing up in Fleetwood? Because obviously that's
Oh,
where local to where we're from. I'm in Thornton,
yeah.
and a lot of the other crew were around the
Mm,
Fleetwood, Blackpool area. How did
mm.
you find Fleetwood?
Oh, I love it. I still love it. I still like. Well, so I was in Fleetwood until I was about 11, and then we just moved like slightly further down the beach to Cleveleys when
Oh
um
yes, yeah.
I did high school. So I was just so I was very much kind of in the same space. But I did love it, and I'm really proud of where I came from, and
Hmm.
it's you get to sort of like have that experience of like just growing up and going to the beach every day. That kind of
We ran our first Comic Con in Fleetwood last year at the
mm,
Marine Hall, which was really good. It was a free event, but um, we were unable to do that this year because they're having some work done on the Marine Hall. I mean, it's an amazing building. It's a great location, but it's not available this year, so we're doing Lytham instead, which is obviously the posh end of the Fylde Coast.
the pleasure.
Yeah, the posh end. It is. It is. So we're at the pavilion, the Lowther Pavilion,
Oh,
this
amazing.
year instead. So if you're
Mm,
in the area in August, do come
yeah,
along and say hello,
yeah,
and
of
you know
course.
we will be there. Is a Comic Cons a thing that you do? Do you appear at them, or do you attend them, or do you just not just steer clear of them?
I I I would love to go to a Comic Con. I find Comic Cons quite intimidating.
Right.
And I don't know. It's just that I don't know. I feel like if I'm going to do it, I'd want to do it properly. Who would I dress up as? I can't make any good costumes. Like what? Where would the inn be? But I
Yeah.
think I would love to go to one that's absolutely like my vibe and the stuff I enjoy. So yeah.
I think you could
But
get
that's
away
kind
with
of
going as Meredith out of Vampire
imagine.
Academy. Yeah,
Could you
you look
imagine?
similar, so I think you'd get away with that one.
Oh my gosh, no, I couldn't.
Yeah, you should. I mean, would you go as an attendee then, or would you go as a guest to do some signings and photographs and that kind of thing? Which side of the thing do you think you'd enjoy the most?
I mean, I'm sure both is great. I'm not sure anybody would want to meet me. I'm not
Oh
sure. I don't really
no,
know.
of course they
But
would. You'd be amazed. I mean, the amount of guests that come to the Comic Cons, and they're all loved when they get.
mm,
We've always got people. Oh wow, it's such a person. They'll go and get a picture taken with them, and it's fantastic.
mm. No, I mean, I'd do both. Both sides sound fun.
Yeah, a lot of stars actually attend Comic Cons in cosplay, but nobody knows it's them. Like Lee
Yeah.
Francis, Keith Lemon.
Oh yes, yes, yes,
So
yeah.
so Lee Francis, he's really into his cosplay. He does something called Fancy Dress Friday, and every Friday he gets a new costume on, a lot of Stranger Things ones or something. He's got a full Vecna costume, but he attends Comic Cons, but in cosplay, so nobody knows
Mm.
it's him. So he can just like mingle and walk
It's,
around the crowd, and nobody's like, oh, it's everybody calls him Keith Lemon, but it's Lee Francis. He's always in cosplay, so nobody knows. So that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, he could just go as himself, couldn't he? And like just commit to it so much that everyone thinks it's just a really good cosplay of
Yes, yeah, that's it. He could do, yeah. But no, Comic Cons are the great events, and it's I know I can understand a lot of people are a bit nervous about going to them because, especially if you've not been to one before, it's what to expect. But no, they're fantastic. So it's the people that you meet there are all great. So it's definitely something you should look at.
I will.
Definitely.
I promise I will.
So that about brings us to the end of the podcast. Thank you very much, Rhian, for joining us today.
Thank you.
I look forward to seeing what your latest project is when it finally gets announced.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for spending your precious time coming on our podcast.
No, thank you. Honestly, it's been an absolute blast.
Thank you. And all the best for the future.
Yeah, you too.
Cheers. Thanks.
Thanks. See ya.
Thanks. And there we